In this example, you're going to learn how to put some JavaScript code behind a certain control. So in this case, we'll put it behind a button. Even though we are a low-code, no-code platform, sometimes there are cases where you might want to put some JavaScript to do something, and that's possible to do that. So let's go and create a new form definition. And in this case, I'm going to call this, let's say, JS events form def. And let's put a text box. And next to the text box, we'll put a little button here. And if you click on, right click on any of these controls, get the context menu, you will see these events. And we can see the same thing on the button, also events. That's where we are going to go and put the code. Before we do that, we are going to give this text box a name. We'll call it txt search and save that. And we are going to go into the buttons events. You'll see various events are available: on click, on down. So we're going to go into our on click, and then we're going to write some JavaScript code. Let's say we want to get the value of this text box and just show it on an alert. So I'm going to declare a variable called data. And on this data, we are going to go get the value of this text field. So if you're familiar with jQuery, I'm going to use the jQuery syntax. So in this case, I'm going to do $, and then inside this, I'm going to say pound txt search, which is the ID of my text field, and just say val function. This will return me the value of the text field, and we'll just do an alert and say data. This should show us the value of data. So let's go ahead and test this. I'm going to go ahead and save this and save the form itself. And I'm going to do a preview on this. So let's go ahead and put some text in here. Let's put the value Flourite and click the button, and you can see it's displaying an alert dialog with Flourite with the value of the field. So it got the value of the field and displayed that to you. So you can easily use these buttons, or even, I could put the same thing in a control. So let's go ahead and use different methods. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that button. And you will also see if you want to reuse functions. Let's say if you want to reuse a piece of code, like before, we put the JavaScript code against the button and the code is with the button. So you can't really reuse that. But if you go into page functions, you can actually write your own JavaScript function here. So let's call it display value, and we'll add a new function. And so here we'll put variable data equals $, hash txt search, and the value. And next we can say use alert data. And now we have created a page level function. Now this page level function, should be available. I'm just going to go in here and verify page level function is still there. So let me go ahead and put a button now. And inside this button, I'm going to go and select the function display value and say save. And we can even put another button and do the same thing. We can say events and say on click use display value. And I'm just going to check this button here. Okay. Oh, I forgot to hit the add button, so I'm going to say add. I'm going to save that. And here also, I'm going to go ahead and say on click and say add. And I'm going to save that. And we're going to save the definition and do a preview. So here now, if I enter the word, let's say compute, and say button, you can see the word compute. Okay. And if I enter the word, let's say data, and hit the second button, you can see it will show the value from the field. So now you have a page level function that is reused in multiple controls. And that's the way to share functions and use them within the page. So now you can see a more advanced feature where you can actually put JavaScript code behind these controls to perform some kind of action. Thank you for watching the video.